Welcome back to Wrestling with Horror. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is the channel where we talk about professional wrestling, we talk about horror movies, and we look at all the ways that they intersect, connect, and everything in between. Now, today we're going to be talking a little bit more about Scream. Not just Scream 6, but the future of the franchise, just like we did with Halloween after Halloween Ends came out. But now we're going to do this with Scream. We've gotten some news that Scream 7 is probably going to start shooting this fall to be released next year, which, you know what, after seeing Scream 6, I'm excited for. I'm really excited for the future of this franchise. I think that these characters can continue to do great things. I think they've set up the core four as something really interesting that they can continue to grow and evolve as you go forward in the series. And if you want to make things right with Neve Campbell and bring her back and continue to use the legacy characters in a smaller capacity, I'm all for that too. Maybe we can even get the return of Patrick Dempsey as Mark Kincaid, who is obviously now Sidney's husband. But whatever they decide to do, I'm excited for it. I have faith in the creative team behind this, these movies now. I think the producers and the directors and the writers all have the best of intentions. And I think that they really understand what Scream is supposed to be. Maybe to some people, Scream 6 didn't quite hit the mark. Maybe for me, it didn't quite hit the mark where I expected it to be. That doesn't change the fact that I really enjoyed it. I really like the direction that they're going with the series. I just think that they could tighten a few things up and make a few different choices along the way. But that being said, let's talk about a few ideas that we could possibly see in Scream 7. Starting off, where are they going to be located in Scream 7? Are they still going to be in New York City? Probably not. I don't know why these characters would stay in New York after being attacked there the way they are. But let's say they do. Let's say that they decide to stay. Let's say that Tara decides to stay in college, and so do Mindy and Chad. What if they decide to stay there, and maybe in Scream 7 we get an even bigger version of New York City? We got a little bit of it. We got to see a few landmarks here and there. We got to see a little bit of Central Park in one of the scenes, but maybe they go bigger in Scream 7. I'm all for that. I think that that was one of the things that kind of bothered me a little bit. It wasn't a huge bother, but it bothered me that they made a big deal out of New York City, but they didn't really use it to its fullest capacity. They showed pieces of it, but I want to see a little bit more. So maybe we can get that in Scream 7. And of course, along with this setting, you're probably going to try to up the gore and up the violence and brutality even more than you already have, because that just seems kind of to be the norm at this point for Scream. Scream 4 was the most bloody of the series, then Scream 5 became the most brutal of the series, and now Scream 6, to me, is the most brutal of the series. So are they going to continue to up that ante every time they create a new movie? Maybe. If they don't, so be it. I think that the violence level is already at a pretty good spot. So if they don't, then I'm not going to be too upset about it. And so who could possibly live and who could possibly die in Scream 7? Now, I think if you get through Scream 7 and you don't have any of the core four, you don't have any of them dead, I think that your audience is probably going to start noticing some inconsistencies, and you're probably going to get some diminishing returns with that group of characters. Now, I love every character in that group, but I think that you have to pull the trigger on something there. And I think that you need to kill off another legacy character, whether it be Kirby, whether it be Gail or Sidney or whoever you want to bring back, but somebody has to go. You can't just continue having all these people survive. And I'm of the group that believed that Gail should have been one of the people who died in Scream 6. I think that would have created a more emotional moment. I think that you still could have had that awesome chase scene between her and Ghostface, but if you would have just pulled the trigger on her dying there, I think that would have been, like I said, a much more emotional moment created throughout the film. And now let's move on to the big elephant in the room. They teased it a little bit in Scream 6 by mentioning his name and some rumors of his survival, but what about Stu Macher? Do we bring Stu back? You know, I could go either way. I see the pros of bringing him back. I see the cons of not bringing him back. if you want to do it, great. I just think that there needs to be a interesting and compelling story for bringing him back. I think there needs to be good reason for doing something that big. Over the years, Matthew Lillard has said that he would love to come back and do something. That was even supposed to be involved with Scream 3 in a major capacity and even got paid for it. But real life events prevented that from happening, and they decided to go a different direction. So maybe now's the time to do it. Maybe now's the time, because you had that little line from Mindy saying, if you believe that he died, maybe that was foreshadowing, or maybe it was just a little bit of a slap in the face to those of us who want him to be alive in some capacity. But either way, like I said before, I'm really excited for the future of this franchise. I think that they're doing a fantastic job with it, and I'm just really excited to see what comes next. So that being said, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think is going to happen next in the Scream franchise. Do you want to see Stu come back? And if you do, let me know what way they could possibly do that. Let's all create our own ideas and put them down in the comments and just see what sticks. Let's be respectful of everybody's opinions, everything like that. And until next time, my name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.